Hello everyone, this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. Today, we're going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. So, I was checking the diagonal again this morning, and I'm realizing that I'm not really liking how the eyes are moving still. They're like moving into place. I guess I should turn the other eye on while I check this. But, I do not feel like they're moving up enough. It's like it didn't look too bad here because I was just making them get a little bit smaller, but now that I look at the diagonal, I realize that I just don't like it much, so we're gonna try to make things look good along the diagonal, and then I'll realign things with the upward head turn. So I'm gonna try moving things up 2 clicks and see if that does it. Hopefully it won't mess with the other proportions in her face too much. But I think I might need to move her nose and mouth up a little bit too. Yeah, I think so. So after all these things kind of have to move together. And with that, I'm going to have to adjust the shadows on the head a little bit as well. So I'll just do some quick adjustments there because I think I really want to get these right here because the location of the eyes will affect where this part of the bang goes, or this part of her hair. And I'm not sure if I need to send that up higher than I currently am. So I need to get that all checked out and figured out before I continue. But first, just cleaning up around here because there were a couple of shenanigans there, but alright. I think it's a bit better. Now I'm going to check that diagonal again and see if the eyes are moving a little bit better here. Yeah, I think so. Good. Looks like I didn't need to move them too much. So hopefully I'll be able to align things here fairly easily. I just moved things up 2 ticks. Doot. There we go. And the same with the nose and mouth. And I want to do that on the upper right head turn as well, since all of that is mirrored from the upper left one. So I just move all of these up 2, regardless of where they are currently. This one had to go over 2 as well, the nose that is. And everything else just heading on up. Okay. Let me make sure that all of these are the same now. No, 15. Oh, this was... So left eye is the big one, that should be 15. And that'll be over here, so you should be 15. And then the smaller eye should be 19, which will be this one here. I messed up the number somewhere, so I'm just gonna go fix that, probably from adjustments in various places. That's fine. And I want to double check the numbers on the nose now. 26, 46, 46. Okay. 27, 24. Alright. Okay, all the numbers should match now, so it should go across smoothly. I mean, it is this way, but not this way. Okay, I'm gonna have to check some stuff. Alright. So this is an interesting way to start the day. That's alright. Okay, I think I see. I think you were fine at 24. So we'll bring you down to 24, and you down to 24. Perfect. So I'm just gonna be matching up numbers for a little bit. How do the chins look? Okay, I think the chin is okay. Nose is moving down. Let's go check the numbers for the nose. 26, 26. Okay, so this means that the nose should not be having issues, so I'm not sure why it is right now. Are you not 26? Oh, you're 26. You can see here, it says negative 26 right there. That is the number I'm looking at, so I'm not sure why it looks like it's moving downward here. It's happening on this side too. Even though the numbers are the same. How strange. Okay. That's gonna be have to be something I figure out here. Now, one thing that I want to look at as well. I'm actually going to go into bald mode for a second here. And earless mode. I want to see how the eyes are moving across the face as I turn. Because, yeah, I get why I wanted this eye to be a little bit higher, but I don't think it looks good. So I'm going to try lowering it just a little bit and see if it keeps the kind of tilted look in her face without having to be quite so strong. So I'll bring it down to 18 and see if that still does it. See if that makes this turn look perhaps a little bit better. Okay, so the eye sockets also got pushed inward, probably from the computer trying to help me out, and that definitely wasn't helping. Okay, I think that's a bit better. Let's go turn the hair back on. We will stop with the bald Shalom for a little bit. Alright, now I just need to figure out where I want these eyes to be sitting. So I'm gonna try some things. Just do some experiments, and otherwise see what works and see what doesn't. Okay, that looks better. That looks pretty good. We check the diagonal here, and yeah, that seems to be working out. So this means I'll be able to head back on over to the hair. Meanwhile, I've been making good progress with my illustration for the Path to Nowhere 2nd Anniversary art contest, and pretty happy with how it's coming out. I'm not used to doing such chaotic compositions, but it's like I'm drawing Zero, and I cannot picture her with a less chaotic composition. I just feel like I have to make her scene very, I don't know, something simple just doesn't really suit her, in my opinion. So it just is ending up being very chaotic, and I'm still trying to figure out how to wrangle all of it in. I think I've gotten most of it, though. I just need to balance the colors. If I get to a point where I like that today, I think I will post a work in progress. Okay, I think the diagonal's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and start relining up the hair with the top. Because yesterday what happened was I noticed that when I was testing along the diagonal that the hair just looked like it was bulging in a few places and some things just didn't look really good. So I ended up redoing a bunch of stuff. Now it looks better. So I lined it up with the left head turn, fixed all the problems there. Now I have to line it up with the top. You can see that there's some spots moving around the top that are not quite right here. So I'll just be trying to get some of that back into place here. Well, periodically, just double checking to make sure that I am satisfied with how the diagonal looks. After all, I don't want to correct something if I'm just going to have to go back and fix it up again because I messed something up. Hello, Oyan. How are you doing today? I am just continuing on in Adventures in Hair. Just finished some corrections on her face, and now it's right back to hair. Good. Glad to hear it. Okay, yeah, that's a bit better. Just really making sure that I like how things are here. But I think I do, so that means whatever I see here that looks wrong actually is wrong. Actually, before I go up there, that's the area I was looking, but I want to check the front bangs again. That's what I was fixing up yesterday, and I want to make sure that it's all good. So far, so good. As always, it's a bit of a slow process, but that's okay. I do feel like I am making pretty steady progress every day. And it does look like I managed to get the tips of the front bangs all pretty good yesterday, so I'm gonna start heading up here and fixing things up in this area. Looks like there's lots of little things to fix up here. I'm still hoping that I am correct and that the hair will be the part that takes the longest to work on. So that this way, once it's done, hopefully everything will come a little bit faster. And I will actually be able to finish this before the end of the year. That's the hope. Alright, so lots of things not lining up here. Alright, how do I want to go about this? I am going to hide a bit of hair, just so I can see a little bit better, and not be distracted by some of these other areas here. So we're going to be extremely bald for a second here. Alright. Just gonna have the bangs sticking out like that. Because there are lots of little things that need to move around, and I am having trouble following it all. Alright, I need to get rid of the rest. Bang only. Alright. Let's go. Let's get this bang right. Just being quiet for a moment while I figure out these last little bits that I need to push into place. So here it's interesting because I feel like these parts are too low. But these highlights here are too high. So yeah, it's like if you look at the turn just a little bit here, it's like the strands right around here are still kind of sinking downward. But otherwise, I think it's okay right through there. And I think I fixed most of it in that little bit that I just adjusted. So not too much left. And then while I fix this up and it's on my mind, I have occasionally gotten questions about getting started with art or just various other creative things, and I figured that I should talk about that for a bit. I've talked a little bit about it, but I haven't talked about probably the biggest mistake that I think I see beginners get into. And a lot of that is being a little bit too focused on growth. And like, don't get me wrong, getting better is important. And getting to the point where you actually like your art can actually be pretty hard. Or at least it was for me. So I can certainly understand just being very focused on getting better at what you're doing. But I think for beginners, there's actually a step that comes before growth. And that's just actually enjoying what you're doing. And it sounds strange, but I think everybody has a reason for wanting to get started with any kind of creative work. I'm going to focus on visual art for a second, just because that is what I'm familiar with. And I've mentioned in the past that the reason that I've started drawing was because I wanted to learn how to draw my OCs, basically. I wanted to draw my characters. And that was it. And so I just started out and learned how to draw people, so this way I could go do that. And I liked doing that. Even if my art wasn't necessarily very good, I liked being able to show people what I mean, or what my characters look like, and some stuff about their demeanor and whatnot. And even fairly simple drawings that don't necessarily look very good can convey those ideas. And at least for me, it was a lot easier than doing it with words. And that is what let me stick with doing it. And if you're strictly focused on growth and getting better and all that stuff, sometimes I think you can lose sight of what made you want to draw in the first place. I was feeling a little bit of that even just recently, where I was feeling kind of listless and creatively dead. So I kind of had to reconnect with that part. And I think it's even easier for beginners because they don't necessarily even like looking at what they make. So if they don't have just that raw enjoyment of what they're making, then it's going to be really hard to stick with any kind of drawing. So it's like, I know some people will say, study the fundamentals and all that stuff. But for raw beginners, I think the first step is actually to figure out what you like to draw. Figure out what actually makes you happy. And then once you figured out what is fun to draw, then you can worry about drawing that better. Because at least then you'll have something that is actually worth seeing grow, I guess is how I'd put it. Just, you actually have something you want to do. And you're not getting better for the sake of getting better. You're getting better for the sake of drawing that thing you want to draw. So for me, a lot of that, it was people. For some people, it might be animals. I've seen a lot of people just get really into drawing horses, for example. Or landscapes. And by taking in those fundamentals, you'll be able to draw those things better. And then the results will probably make you happier still, but it takes time for that to happen. And I think it's important to understand what you're hoping to get out of art before you jump right into it. So for beginners, draw what makes you happy. You can worry about studying later. First, you gotta be happy. It's not gonna be any good if you try to do it when you're not happy. Okay, there we go. Looking a bit better. I'm gonna turn more hair on again. Okay. Just wanted to check something there, but I'm gonna keep the strands off for now, but the rest can come back on. So that one, that one, that one, and main. Oh, I missed the bang. There it is. Okay. Alright, now we're not bald anymore. Alright, do I see? I do. Okay. So yeah, I think the bang is looking pretty okay. Still have a few things I need to fix up there, but I want to fix some stuff around first. I can see why I wanted to hide all the other layers while I figured that out, because there's lots of little bits just squirming around here and there, and it does make it hard to focus on one area. Fortunately, that is exactly why I am able to hide those layers. Makes it a lot easier to see. And at this point, I know that the upper left layer is more or less correct. Might need to fix some things up here and there, but I can base everything going on in this upward head turn on the upper left one now. And once they're lining up, they will probably both be right. That is the hope, at least. Okay. I was a bit sad this morning because I think my headphones are finally dying. Hello there, is that Vihan or just Vaughn? Well, regardless. Hello, how are you doing today? I'm here just lining up hair. Gonna be stuck in hair hell forever, I swear. But I'm getting there. Everything is coming together slowly but surely. Well, I'm probably going to be working on this model for a while. I'm hoping to be able to finish it before the end of the year, but I'm not entirely sure if I will be able to give you a time frame for how long I think it's going to take. And after that, I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do. So, Zoya, maybe, maybe not. I don't know yet. But it will be a while before I work on anything else. So I want to finish this before I jump into something else. It's like maybe I could be persuaded to do some smaller projects here and there, or dedicate a day of the week to something else, but making VTuber models like this takes a pretty long time. There's a lot to do. You can see here, I'm just very carefully adjusting a bunch of stuff in the hair in order to make it look like her head is turning instead of just a bunch of stuff moving around randomly. And to get that kind of level of detail and the turns to all be correct and look nice and all that stuff, it takes a lot of care and a lot of time. It's just a slow process. Just how it is. Alright, but I'm getting everything moving this way better again. It's like right now I have a lot of it hidden, but it's like if I look at some of the other angles, the other corners right now, you can see that it's quite messy. Like, I got gap here, and oh, this is crunchy. If I go down to the corners, her head is shrinking. So there's still quite a bit left to do. It's like, I just always think that this looks so funny. Oop. Head getting tiny. So there's still a lot I need to fix. Nothing looks quite as good as the upper left one. The upper left one is the other one that I've done any real work on. So I still have to finish this corner and then the 3 others, and at least the 4 cardinal directions are all looking good, I think. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to adjusting hair here. So let's see, there's a few things I still need to adjust where the bang and the side hair over here connect to each other. Because I do want to make sure that it still lines up with the center here. It's like, that shape seems to be pretty good. So I'm wondering why it's so different from over there. But yet over there still lines up pretty well. I don't know, rigging is weird. Let's just get them connecting first, and then I'll worry about the rest. I do think after this I'll probably take a break and do some animated illustrations instead of full models like this. You get a lot more flexibility if you're just making an illustration move, as opposed to something like this, where I have to care about a lot more varying movements and stuff like that. So it'll be nice to work on something a little simpler then. So here I was lining up that little bit on the inside of the tunnel here. So this way I could really focus in on how the tunnel itself is moving. Make sure that I like the way all that's working out. But I do feel like it's expanding a little bit over on this side. Man, I feel like I'm just having to dig into this top view all over again. Oh, that's alright. It's for the best. It'll look a lot better once I fix it all up like this. Yeah, definitely still need to pull some in just a little there. Feel like I made it a little bit too round up here. So let's make it a little bit less round here. There we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. Still needs a little bit more to be pulled in here. So my husband and I were playing a bit more Factorio this morning, and we just landed on Vulcanus for the first time. And it's kind of interesting how they're handling everything. It's a very different little world, and the way things are going on, we still don't really know how it all works. We saw our first demolisher. A small one, fortunately. But it was, a little bit terrifying. It's like we just saw this area where a bunch of rocks were damaged, and we suddenly got really nervous. And then I just see this giant worm crawling around. It was pretty crazy. So I'm kind of looking forward to exploring that planet a bit more tomorrow. As you can bet, we're gonna play some more tomorrow and start setting up our base on Vulcanus. Factorio is a really neat little game. Like, I don't know, how do I talk about the design in that? It's very well put together. It's a very interesting combination of like there's a lot of realism in there and how things are made, but it's done not because it's realistic, but because it makes sense within the context of the game as well. And I think that's where a lot of games that get caught up on realism kind of fall short. Because ultimately, these games aren't real. They're games. And realism is a reasonable place to start, but you still have to design mechanics around them that are intended to be fun or lead to interesting challenges. And the way Factorio does it is, I think, quite interesting in moving resources around and making sure you dedicate enough of them to defense that you just don't get overrun. My husband and I had a time on our speedrun of that game. Because we were going for the original Factorios, before Space Age. Make the rocket in 8 hours achievement. And we thought we could do it without getting any of the bullet upgrades. And, oh man, that just made everything so painful. We did it, but... oh man, it made everything so much harder. We had to dedicate so many resources to defense. I don't think it was worth skipping Black Science over. And so that told us a little bit more about the design of the game and stuff, and It's a very well put together game. A very interesting one. I think if I were to talk about it coherently, I'd have to really put my thoughts together on it, but... it's a game that I can definitely recommend if you are into building games. Or, you know, city builders and stuff. It's like Factorio is about building a factory, not a city, but same idea. And it's perhaps less about aesthetics, but I don't know. I think if you ask anybody that plays, they're going to have their own preferred aesthetics, and it's going to matter. I've heard it compared to loading the dishwasher, where people have a particular way they want to do it, and if they don't do it like that, then it just feels weird and they get annoyed. I've been, in general, just really trying to dig into why I like or dislike certain bits of media. And I can probably explain most of it. Or at least I feel like I can explain a lot more of it than I could even, I don't know, a year ago. Even though this is something I've been trying to do since I was fairly young. But I do think that after digging into creating things a lot more myself, I'm starting to kind of understand. I just understand certain things a little bit better, and how the creators probably thought about some of the stuff that they were making. Very good thing to do if you want to get into art yourself. Of just... even if you don't know where to get started, I think a good place to get started is just to look at the media that you like to consume. Whether that be the art that you like to look at, or the games you like to play, music you like to listen to, stories you like to read. Anything. Anything at all. And just try to understand why you actually like it. Or why you don't like it. Because I read and play a lot of stuff I don't like too. Just so that this way I can try to figure out why. And at least in the case of art, just looking at art that I like and figuring out why I liked it. It's like, one thing that I realized, especially with anime, is that I like some of the crazy expressions that come up. So I've been trying to do a lot more with dynamic poses and weird expressions, and just pushing some of those expressions further than I ever have. And that's, what's been informing a lot of my art lately. Like, I drew this picture of Ifrit from Arknights, a while ago. I think it's been a few months. And, man, I had so much fun drawing that expression. Just all the fire. It was a good time. And so I'd like to be able to do more stuff like that. And to an extent, I actually am with the drawing of Zero that I'm working on. Has a very extreme pose, very, very, very big smile. And I am looking forward to posting that. Right now, a lot of the expression is just placeholder. Just because I want to get the composition, the pose, and the lighting, and all that basic stuff done before I really dig into the expression itself, but the idea is there, and I'm very excited to be working on it. So yeah, analyzing a lot of the stuff that I have been looking at and watching and all that good stuff has helped me understand just how fun anime can be. And I can make it way more fun than I currently am. I think that's another important thing or another important reason for beginners to really pay attention to what they actually enjoy drawing. Because, man, if I had realized that I just like to draw really insane expressions and really weird poses, I probably would have been a bit more ambitious with that early on, and I would have been a bit further along there, or at least have more understanding of those things than I do now. Whereas for a long time, I was pretty shy with posing, because anatomy is hard. And I had trouble understanding the anatomy and the perspective and all that stuff, and I realized if you exaggerate a pose hard enough, none of those things matter. As long as you can tell what bit is in front and what bit is in back, it doesn't matter nearly as much as when you're just drawing forward-facing poses. Like, you'll notice that things are off way faster in some of those poses than some of these really weird ones where you just make, I don't know, the hand like 2 times the size of her face because, just because it's coming forward and you can get away with that. It's pretty cool. Things I wish I understood earlier. Because right now what I'm working on with the piece for the anniversary contest is, involves Zero, like, drop-kicking the screen, more or less. Just breaking through the, glass separating the internet from the real world. I guess the dark web, if you want to be specific. But, yeah, that's the basic idea of it. So I just have, like, this giant foot at the bottom, and it makes sense. Even though it's freaking huge. Yeah, if I can wrangle in the colors and figure out how I want to do the lighting, I think I will post a work in progress on the channel today. A time lapse for this one is going to be interesting, because oh man, I have so much trouble with the composition. It's not even funny. I have to, like, rearrange things so many times, and I started with a vertical composition, so you know where the vertical length is longer than the horizontal length is long. And eventually I just flipped it. So this way now it's in landscape where the horizontal is longer than the vertical, and I put her foot in like several different places at several different angles, and I had to mess with the size and the perspective a lot, and oh man, and there's so many elements, it's very, very chaotic. And like I said, a simple picture doesn't really suit her, so of course it's gonna be really chaotic. It's gonna be super chaotic. Just what can I say? I enjoy a lot of my minimalist stuff too, so doing something with so many elements and so many colors and it's a bit overwhelming. So I needed some time to wrangle it all together. Just how many times I changed various aspects of the composition and all that. I might do a voiceover for the speed paint video when it comes out. Just because I think explaining some of that could be fun too. And I didn't draw it live, so it's not like I can just link to the stream VODs if people want my commentary. I think about these things a lot. Maybe more than is healthy. But, I want to be able to make some good videos. And really showcase my process there, because I don't see it very often. Especially in, like, anime art. Occasionally I'll see it in people that do semi-realism or more realistic painting, but never with anime artists, who tend to just do line art or something similar. As opposed to just painting right away and just embracing the raw chaos of the process. I personally find it a lot easier than, I don't know, trying to use lines. Lines just don't make sense to my brain. They work for a lot of people, but I've never been able to get them to work for me. Trust me, I tried for a very long time. Of just trying to sketch the way people always showed in speed paints or in tutorials and whatnot. And just could not. And then I just started painting in silhouettes with blobs of colors and whatnot everywhere. Actually, initially I did black and white only. And then I'd color it afterward. With like gradient maps and color layers and stuff. But I found it easier to just jump right into color, eventually. Once I reached a certain level of skill where I could kind of get my basic ideas down in color, I started finding doing that to be a lot simpler. So I do feel like part of learning how to draw just kind of comes down to figuring out how your brain interprets the stuff around you. So for a lot of people, that's lines, where you kind of see the contours around something. But for me, I just saw shapes and light. So once I started painting in silhouettes, it just all came together, and it was very nice. Even then, I still had to draw for quite some time before I really started liking the stuff that I was drawing. Okay, so on the model here, I'm looking at this highlight here. You can see that it's going to go up when I turn her head here, and I don't think that's right. So I'm trying to figure out which angle has it correct. Is it the top angle, or is it this diagonal? And if I'm being honest, they both look fine throughout here, so I could probably use whichever one I prefer. So I think I'll keep the top. And I'll just go ahead and push this little highlight just a little bit higher here. Line all this up just a little bit better here. Yeah, there we go. I think it even looks pretty good here, too. Alright, well, lining this up is proving to be a little bit more straightforward than I was afraid it might be, so that makes me happy. I was pretty scared of getting started at it. It looked pretty intimidating, but so far it's been pretty straightforward. Just all coming together. And it helps that I just did all of this yesterday, so I still kind of remember the areas that I changed and why I changed them. So I should just be able to go in and just fix it all up. Make them match nice and easy. Maybe soon I'll be able to get the back hair back on it. Or, you know, the hair that goes over her shoulder. It's like, don't mind that the spot is just cut off. It's fine, it'll get fixed later. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I promise I know what I'm doing, and did not just forget to draw certain pieces. It's all here. Alright, it looks like I'm on the last little bit here. I was figuring that it would actually take a bit longer to properly line all this up. I guess it did take like a whole day, but that's okay. Might have taken like a whole day, but man, do I think everything is just looking so much nicer now. It was totally worth it. Like, look at that. The turn is just... Oh man, it looks so much better. And I haven't even started fixing up all the stuff down the strands on the upper left turn here. There's still a bunch of stuff like over here that's wrong and all that, just because I've only really been touching the roots and this one strand here. But the fact that it already looks this good is very promising to me. I'm very happy. Very, very happy indeed. Always nice when things come together. Alright. So, let's see. This strand I know connects to right here. So I need to make sure to pull this out a little bit more. It's being perhaps a little bit too shy. It's gotta go out there. Yeah. Then I can just smooth the rest of this out here. Make it so it's not all lumpy. Yeah, I don't want to have lumpy hair. That would just be unfortunate. Perhaps a sign that you would need to go shower. Alright. So now I should have all that in. Let me see, is it connecting properly over here? Mostly, but I think I can afford to loof it out a bit to help it match up with the upward head turn here. There's always the decision on which one do I change. It's like, do I change the top view? Do I change the upper left? Gotta make that decision. But I think no matter which one I make, I can make it look good. As long as it matches up. That's the important part. It's all gonna match up. Alright, so let's make sure everything matches up over here and over here. So far, so good. Alright, I was looking at this kind of lighter pink area over here, debating on whether or not I liked the way it's moving. I'm still not sure. If I'm being honest, I think it's probably mostly okay. Let me just bring out a little bit more pink on the top. And I think that'll make it look better. Just a little bit here. Not a lot. Just a little bit of pink. It's the way I like my steaks. Just a little bit of pink. There we go. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. That might even be a little bit too much. We'll take it back. We'll just cook it a little bit more. Make it a little bit less pink. Let everything just kind of line up like that. Yeah. And that, I think, looks like it's turning. We see a little bit more pink here, and it's a little bit thicker in that area, and I think that makes sense with the nature of the turn that's happening here. Alright, doing all this, let me notice that I didn't quite like where the peak of this back strand is. I'm gonna pull everything over to the left just a little bit more there. Yeah, that looks better. Alright, let me compare it to here. This will be top, what, version 3 or something? All done. And I think it's looking pretty good. Definitely lining up with some of these other parts a bit better. So, I am satisfied. We'll see what the ever-picky me of tomorrow thinks, but for now, I'm quite happy. One thing that is an important part of my process is just not looking at something for a while and then coming back to it with fresh eyes to see what I see. Typically, I can find a few more things that I don't like and that I want to fix up, which is why I always describe my future self as very picky. But my past self is not picky enough. I think it's a good way to look at things. At least with me, it's pretty easy to get excited and just want to post whatever I finish, like, right away. But if I just wait one day, if I sleep on it, don't let myself get caught up in the excitement, then I can generally make it look even better. So I do think it is worth taking that extra, just a little bit of time to make the picture, or the model in this case, the best that I can make it. I do like embracing the pickiness of myself. It works out. and it means I make better pictures. Alright, so I'm trying to get a particular strand over here into a good place. And I think once I do, I might end for today. Just this little guy here. This red part connects with this red part here, and this pink part connects with this pink part here. So I'll need to move those areas over a little bit with it. But I do think that this spot is moving a bit too far to the left. So I just wanted to line up properly with those little pieces that it's supposed to line up with. So let's see if that's enough. Yeah, pretty good. Just gonna fix up the shape a little bit. And that should do it. Got a little bit flat there. So hopefully with that little tiny shape correction, everything will look a bit better. And then I just noticed that this underneath layer was kind of sticking out a bit too far, and there were some shenanigans there, so just wanted to fix that up too. Little things here and there. I'm looking forward to turning all the strands back on. But first, I think I want to go down each strand and make sure that the upper left turn here is complete. As you can see, there's still some shenanigans. It's like, look at this strand here. Look at it go up. It's like, it doesn't. It does down here, but over in this highlight area and where it transitions colors, it doesn't. It just kind of gets squeezed. So there are going to be things just here and there that I still need to work on. Go down all these strands, get these long areas done, and all that good stuff. Fix up the bottom of the connecting hair. As right now it's being stretched in a weird way, and just all that good stuff. But man, if I can get it looking good as I was able to get this one, I'll be happy. Because man, that one really looks like it's moving right. There might still be a few spots that I need to fix, but I think that might be for a different time. Well, no, I can do a little bit of it now. It's fine. I'm feeling a little ambitious today, so let's just finish up all the corrections so that this way, with any luck, tomorrow I can just jump into new stuff and have a good time. Do that instead of trying to figure out all these little areas that I can make just a little bit stronger. Just taking a look and figuring out which areas need to be fixed, and it honestly just kind of feels like Some parts here got a little bit too thick and a little bit too curved. Because the strand is actually quite straight. So let's put some of those straights back in and see what happens. See where I feel like things are kind of blobbing a bit. Yeah, little dark area here, a little bit too high. And then this area is just a little bit too thick. That's okay. I think if I make it a little bit thinner, it'll actually be even straighter. Man, it's gonna take a while for me to get used to only having sound in one ear. Oh, my poor headphones. Not surprised they're having a bit of trouble. They've seen some things. The hazard of having toddlers in your house. They've seen some things. They've had experiences. Very, very unfortunate ones. I doubt I'll be able to fix them though, because I can't even find the wire that looks like it's having trouble. So I'm worried that it's kind of a little bit more internal. It'll be pretty hard to solder if it's all internal. So, might just have to get new ones, which is a little bit sad. I liked these ones. These ones were comfy. They served me well for a pretty long time and survived the worst parts of the toddler years. So perhaps it is time for them to rest. Alas, my poor headphones. But while I mourn the loss of the headphones, I can see that the side bank here is looking pretty good. Oh yeah, look at him go. Almost there, I think. Just a few little things that I need to fix up. Made it thin, but perhaps I made it a little bit too thin. Because now it's not quite lining up with the bottom here. It's okay, there's a lot of little bits of push and pull in here. Alright. So that little bit of shifting I don't actually think I'll see when I zoom out properly. Yeah. Sometimes when I zoom in I can see like exactly how the lines move and stuff like that that doesn't actually matter. There we go, looks like it's rotating. Okay. Once, as always, we'll see how my future self feels, but for now I think we're doing pretty good. Just let her head twitch a little bit. Anyway, I think that's where I will stop for today. So, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or at me on the social media platform of your choice, and I will take a look, maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.